Hi, my name is Ganesh Kumar. A very good evening to Vedantu team. And regarding my educational qualification, I have done my BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering. And my teaching experience so far is with the primary school from first standard to sixth standard and higher school from sixth standard to seventh standard. All the subjects like mathematics, science, social, Telugu, Hindi, English. And coming to the plus one and plus two CBSE syllabus, I'm good at mathematics. And coming to intermediate, I'm good at math, physics, and chemistry. So far, I have taught to more than 32 students in all kinds of the areas, from mathematics and science especially, and up to the BTech I'm currently teaching. So, as for the today's demo part, I'm going to give a session on Hyperloop, fifth mode of transportation. Let me introduce fifth mode of transportation to you. And hereby I am presenting the fifth mode of transportation. Its name is Hyperloop. And why should we go to the fifth mode of transportation? Although we have the other four modes of transportation, like buses, trains, ships, and airplanes. If you see in all the transportation systems, the quickest of the all is airplanes, and the fastest speeds that we can go using this is around 500 kilometers per hour only. And as we are seeing daily basis, that the quickest mode of transportation, the airplanes, is also not the safest way of transportation, because every day we are reading on news or internet or some other social media that somewhere the airplane accident is happening and somewhere the train gets derailed and somewhere the bus got hit to some other things and accidents are happening. And we need to find a way for safest and quickest mode of transportation. And as I can proudly say, and this will be the future quickest and safest mode of transportation. And the same idea was presented by Elon Musk in 2013 and he patented it. And let's get into the details and let's see how it will work and what are the advantages, disadvantages, etc. First of all, we need to see what is the science behind this Hyperloop. You see, it is a very simple thing in design and in function. Some part of the design, some part of the technology came from magnetic leviators, shortly called as maglevs. In the maglev trains, the train used to lift by using super strong magnets, which we should supply enormous amount of power so that it gets magnetized. And due to the repulsive force of the both the magnets, one is carrying by the train and another one is carrying by the track. It is used to lift off the track and it is used to move with a greater amount of speed. And some parts of the world currently magnets are in use. But the thing is, it needs enormous amount of power and 24 by 7 monitorization, and it is a problem with the magnet actually. And coming to the Hyperloop thing, it is a very simple one, and basically, it is a system to build a tube over or under the ground that contains special environment. For example, huge sort of pneumatic tube where high-speed fans would compress and push the air, although the friction implications make Musk skeptical that it will work. Like, I will explain in detail. You see, this will be like this thing, a tube which is filled with vacuum. Rather than vacuum, I can say low pressure air or compressed air which is having a low pressure. See, one end you need to push and the other end you need to pull. Rather we push on one side, and due to the low pressure air on front of the train, it is used to go with greater force. See, But the thing is, having a vacuum in the tube and using electromagnetic suspension inside, Musk acknowledges it is hard to maintain a vacuum because in this tube, if there is some leak here, all the compressed air or some air will go away and it will create a greater amount of catastrophe. So the system will automatically shuts down and there are pumping solutions to overcome this. And we are going to see how it will work from the next slide. See, as I said, it is a hyperloop. It will be a loop-like thing like this. Basically, it is a tubes, the loop, like this. One is for one direction and the other one is for the opposite direction. These are two loops. It is a hyperloop. Passenger capsules here you are seeing it's a passenger capsule standing on the pillars which can withstand for any kind of catastrophe like earthquakes or some other things. One is for the one direction, other is for the opposite direction. See, passenger capsules here are not propelled by air pressure like in vacuum tubes, but by two electromagnetic motors. One is a static motor and another one is a linear motor. The static motor carries the electric current and due to that it induces power into the linear motor. Due to that one, the train at the passenger pod what we are using here starts moving. Once it attains some kind of speed, we won't be using the power which is used for the motor and using the air in front of the train or pod, it will move. See, in this one, we can achieve a top speed of 760 miles per hour. And basically, there are four major parts in this Hyperloop. So one, it is a passenger pod or the tube, we can say, and second one is this one, the compressor or fan, and third one is the air bearings that you are seeing here, and the fourth one is the power generating thing. This is solar panels. The tube tracks do have a vacuum, but not completely free of air. Instead, they have a low pressure of air, as I said before, inside of them. So, using this fan, generally, if this is a pod, let's say this is a pod, just moving forward, if there is high amount of air here, it creates some kind of friction and it will stop this train. But instead of this, what they are using here is a low pressure air so that this train can easily go through this. And the another thing, what we are using here is a fan or a big fan or a compressor, whatever we can say. It used to suck the air. Here there is a fan, big fan. It used to suck the air and it will create less friction to move the train easily forward and it in a great speed. So what the train will do is it used to travel in this low pressure with a greater amount of speed by taking very less amount of power. And see, the air goes in to this fan and it will the air downwards so that using these air bearings what we are here using it will lift the train upwards so that the train can move very fast in the forward direction. There are skylight paddles. These you can see these are the paddles or the bearings we can say that alleviate the capsules above the surface of the tube to reduce friction. The tube is designed in such a way that it can stand with any kind of weather conditions, let's say earthquakes or some other things. They are also designed to be self-powering and unobstructed. Let's say if there is an earthquake, these pillars will be readily swappable so that it will move in a different direction to compensate the earthquake immediately. Okay. Each tube section, let's say this is a tube section, each tube sections can be moved around flexibility of the train shapes because there isn't it a constant track that capsules rely on. If there is some damage happens in this tube here, you can change the track from this to this, connecting using these two and all some other tubes, we can replace it in this one. But for using this high amount of speed or for generating this high amount of speed, we'll be needing some amount of power. But what Elon Musk thought was by placing solar panels on top of these vacuum tubes, not inside the pots, but outside the vacuum tubes, for generating the electricity and supplying that electricity to these motors can transfer this pod at very high speeds. For every 60 to 70 miles, there is a power generator which will use to create the power and use to supply to the motors. That will be more than sufficient for this one. And we can see Hyperloop in India. India plans Hyperloop can be built in 38 months, and globally 800 engineers are currently working on this Hyperloop, of which 25 are from India. And especially when coming to India in Andhra Pradesh government has already signed an MOU to start this Hyperloop project in Andhra Pradesh, and it's going to be start from the next month. And these tubes can withstand quakes, crashes, and there will be low pressure inside it. And this is a one kind of capsule, and passengers will be sitting here, and we can attain a maximum speed of 1200 kilometers per hour. So this is a brief about Hyperloop, and proudly I can say the Elon Musk idea is going to be a reality in very near future. And in the near future, we can travel in this Hyperloop. Let's say a distance of the newly from the New York to Washington D.C. will be covering in just 25 to 30 minutes time. So this will be the revolutionary in the mode of transportation, and it will be the safest and quickest and the most convenient form of travel, and it is a very less expensive when compared to air tickets. It's going to be in the near future. Thank you, Vedantu, for giving me this wonderful opportunity for sharing about Hyperloop demo. I'm glad to wait for your response. Thank you. Thank you.